Galen's got Parkinson's. Now, I've been prioritising my Dungeons and Dragons crew. I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, as many of you will know, when it very first came to the UK. I played the very first modules, G1, G2, G3. And then I played the Tomb of Horrors. Largely, back then, I was playing with miniature figurines, Lord of the Rings fantasy figures. And slowly, as other figures appeared, either from miniature figurines, sword and sorcery, Asgard, Grenadier, Citadel, they began to filter in. So by the mid-80s, 84, 85, I would say that my bulk of my Dungeons and Dragons forces were Citadel, Games Workshop. And then it changed because so many companies now do these things. We didn't have the choice back in the early days. And there was certainly no 3D printing, so that was all a bit frowned upon if there weren't metal figures. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I've not told you what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at my wizards. I'm going to have a look at some of my wizards, just ones I have a box, and I've put in my box all my characters, going right back 78. So I've got first ever Dungeons figures I ever used. But some of these are miniature figurines. And I just thought it might be interesting. So, some wizards I have loved and lost. Cue for sad song. Wizards from the... For some of us, this was the first wizard we ever acquired. Miniature figurines, random wizard. There was this chap, and there was a fellow on a horse, same figure. What used to happen was the bottoms of the staffs used to get broken off, or sometimes people chop them off, and they ended up looking more like sort of 1970s stage magic wands. My friend Stu painted this fella, and he's Radagast Brown. If you painted him grey, he was Gandalf the Grey. If you painted him white, he was Gandalf the White. And if you gave him some sort of weird coloured zigzaggy flickers, he was Saruman of many colours, or Saruman the White, or whatever you wanted him to be. Yeah, so this a good figure. I use this lad a lot. I really do. He's in my Dungeons and Dragons carry case. Have a wizard type chap. There he goes. There he is. 1973, 74. Miniature figurines. All-purpose caster of things arcane and magical. Let me have a look. If I was dead swish, I'd have one of them swivelly, lazy, what do you call it? But I haven't. This is moving on through time. I'm sure there are early, younger players than me who remember using this character a lot. He appeared, I'm going to say, early mid-80s. I'm sure somebody knows. Tell if you've got this wizard, character wizard, or if you've had him, when did you get him? And do you still use him like I do? What's the point? So this is, I think this is a lovely, lovely figure. I'm sort of wandering a bit now. I'm not doing every wizard I own, because there's a football team full and you'd be bored rigid. I'm just showing you the ones that I have in my current Dungeons and Dragons box. I would say this is probably my go-to wizard. I very rarely play a magic character, but this is what I would use if I was using a magic character. again, I don't know when I got him. 90s, 2000s. I'd love you to tell me. I know I keep saying comment, and plenty of you do. No, normally when I've got something wrong, that's fair play. You know, if I get it wrong, tell me, because I want to let everybody know it was what it should have been. Sir Christopher should have been a Hinchcliffe night, not lambing. But hey, I've slipped it in now, Neil. Don't shout at me. I don't know who he is, so I'm not saying, because I don't know, and I don't know when I got him. I know I've had him a while, but I don't know what a while is. I like the book he's reading. I like that idea. He's reading some arcane script, and it will remind me, in my dotage, I used to be able to have a little crack at doing runes and fancy bits and bobs. Now again, I want to say this is Foundry Perry's. I don't think it's Citadel. It's got the look of a set Foundry do, in fact currently do, of sort of Christmassy pantomime villains. Yeah, I've got one here. I've got one here. Oh no! Is that why your glasses keep falling off? So this is a ranger in a Christmas pantomime type Dick Whittington pose, slapping her thigh, as it were. It would not surprise me if they were from the same set, in which case they're Foundry. You have a woman's legs, my lord. So, yeah, I think that's Foundry. I use him as a sort of sneaky villainy type cad and bounder. But also, magic user. I have a realm, a sort of Ottoman type realm called Koth. And he is, sometimes he's an ambassador, sometimes he's a villager, sometimes he's a cleric. More often than not, though, he is an Eastern style magic user, where he specialises in magic that is full of Eastern promise. And again, I suspect this is Foundry, from the same type of set that we got for the Christmas ones. And if that's true, he's still around. Because I know they're doing those sets, Pantomime Horse and Father Christmas and Goblins Stealing Toys, and I think there's a skeleton Father Christmas. There's all manner of weird, exciting and wonderful things. And I would highly recommend them. So this is a halfling who I sometimes use as a rogue. But I do because in my world you can have halfling wizards. It's unusual. They have to throw a 20 on a d20 when they're creating the character. But it's possible. So when that happens, and they don't have a figure to be that halfling wizard, magic user, whatever you want to call them, this is who I use. And again, if people have their own figures, I don't bother, but you know, sometimes people don't. Right? I do think he's a lovely figure. I think all figures are lovely, aren't they? Otherwise we wouldn't keep them. Yeah, so there we go. Just a little look through a few of my wizards that I keep at the moment in my Dungeons and Dragons travel case.